Hi friends. So this video is about how I lost my job to the most toxic work culture at Deloitte USI, and I quit within 1 year without any offer at hand, without any backup plan. And this was due to restructuring? No. Due to cost cutting? No. Due to lack of projects or bench period? No. But an instance of pure office politics. Honestly, I had such a terrible experience that it left me completely broken, ruined my mental health, and I seriously wish that no fresher ever has to go through such an experience anywhere and have such a team. So today I'm here to give out my personal experience, share my personal experience with you all, and so that the freshers can know about how the things work and how could some situations be.
How toxic it was and how I was tortured. It was not a job, but extreme corporate ragging. They made me a special POC to monitor, fix, serve everyone 24/7 and notify them, which was the work of each and everybody, both analysts and senior analysts, which is the work of the primary owners of the respective reports, which is the work of 8 members of the team. When questioned, they said, "See, we are helping out each other, making you this special POC as people miss seeing mails and go out of notice." Actually, they are irresponsible, incapable rogues who stay offline all the time, and I get zero support. Made me the backup of senior analyst who went on wedding PTO and forced me to continue doing her work forever, even post she returned. Eventually, tried to make me backup for everyone, scapegoat, and forced to do all their work every day, even in their presence, where they just made excuses and stayed unavailable all the time. I was made shared resource between two technology works and tried to push more work, exploit, and I was manipulated by the AM or coach. Despite all this, I was provided zero support, treated badly, verbal abuse, and they were unfairly, extremely rigid towards only me, not anyone else on the team. Requested PTO on medical emergency. My PTO was not granted, but on the same day, gives leave to two senior analysts for holiday trips, and I was made to do their work. This is extremely lethal levels, and practices go on. This was the kind of things that were done to me, and
Okay, let's start talking about my personal journey, my worst experience, and it was my worst experience started from the first day on the floor itself, and it was a very, very, very disheartening experience. We are all assigned a buddy after the W2D, two-day orientation program, which is Welcome to Deloitte. We have to, the buddy contacts us, he meets us, and he guides us in initial days. But this was not the thing that happened in my case. It was a serious blow. I felt completely helpless. I was at the Deloitte at hours early in the morning, waiting for any contact from my team, and I had absolutely no contact of anyone. And those who had hired me, no contact of anyone from that vertical. And where do I go on the first day? You're in the office because it is mandatory, and all you're doing is trying to send out mails to your buddy, and you're getting automated responses without any POC, and you do not have any contact number. So how would a new hire, a new campus hire who is first time in the corporate feel if this is the case? And you know what? The buddy assigned is basically was my assistant manager, and और coach और assistant manager is same in the DDI vertical. और coach ऐसा है कि आपका जीना मुश्किल करने वाला है. So definitely he is not gonna come to help you, and they want us to suffer to roam. And with this idea, and why why do, first of all, I don't understand why is a buddy role given to someone who does not want to fulfill it. All this is done to for an attitude towards freshers, or what's the exact reason? So these were a few initial days with very less support from buddy, or where we go to initial days with very less work, where no one is talking to you about work, and your teammates are kind of behaving very coldly, and there is an ongoing exclusion and cold bullying. So this is done basically to undermine the confidence of freshers. And what I felt was I was being excluded from the meetings, and they have this kind of cold negative culture, and people of your own team do not talk to you. And when you try to chip into and take the initiative, join in the conversations, they just and or talk to them informally, let alone work. You just want to go, you want to talk to them, you want to interact with them informally and know more about the place or simple things. Also, there's a kind of exclusion wherein wantedly your team members leave without you, and it is very, as a fresh member, it is difficult to navigate around the office, and definitely the kind of torture that I underwent in this team, I have no words. So no one, literally no one of the 10, there were 10 other hires with me, new hires, and they were called floaters, and that means they were told that they didn't have any other team and they have to work in whichever team there is some work available. This was told to them, but they never faced such issues, and wherever there was work they were given KTs and they were absorbed accordingly. But coming to my position, I was told that I was a permanent replacement to a person who is left, but even then I was not given any proper work, any proper knowledge transitions. And when the team says that we are working on reporting, so what kind of reporting? I was asking them about the system, as taking the initiative completely and asking them to set up calls, but everything was so delayed and they were so indifferent and there was extremely no support. And I don't know if they really had a personal grudge, and there was a completely mismanagement of schedules. And there was a, after much of pushing, a KT chat rolled out, but the KT schedule was not followed. Not even one KT was given from the schedule by the members, and this was the thing that was going on. And when I was talking about what is my roles and responsibilities, so I just set up after a few. I kept on pushing from my end and kept on requesting. I took the initiative, set up meetings, and whenever I took the initiative, set up meetings and asked like, what was the work? What is my role? Since you have told this work depends on SQL, I have this certifications in SQL. I have taken this. I have learned SQL. So these are my skills. So and this is what the job description shows. So what kind of work is going on in the team? I'd like to know more. So I was asking them n number of times, and after a long wait, there comes a day when they tried to explain me about this reporting process. So basically, this team was an tech ops team which had two branches, and one was the RPA operations and one was the SQL team, and they closely worked with two technical teams, RPA and SQL teams. So these are a few initial days wherein there is no much work for freshers, and you roam around networking, and this is what they expect you to do. And you actually go around begging for work because you're very eager to start off with work, but that is not given initially, and this will happen in any company, so that is fine. But in essence, actually, you're being excluded, and there is kind of cold bullying going on. That's what hurt me. So there is a kind of complete exclusion by the team members, wherein they all go together on office days to cafeterias, and when you try to join in them, they just leave the place, and there is a kind of a negativity shown in the conversations with them, or you're trying to strike conversation with them, not just about work but anything basic even. So they're not willing to talk to you. And I had instances where my teammate, one of my senior colleague, was trying to cover her laptop and do the work just because she didn't want me to know what kind of work goes on in team. And you try to inquire about the work, all you're given is just normal information. You're not given any specifics of what kind of work goes on in team. And I had kept on taking, I'm kind of a person who believes that we should take the initiative. So I took the initiative, and despite taking the initiative and asking for what kind of work is being done, and because I saw my friends in other teams, getting their schedule for KTs or knowledge transfer sessions, but I didn't get any such. So I just wanted to know like what kind of work goes on in the team, and when would my knowledge transfer sessions or KTs would be set up. But there is absolutely no update to me, and I do not know what's going on in the team, and neither were there any calls. And whenever I tried to set up some calls with any of the seniors or managers, and my calls were getting cancelled, and they're completely unresponsive to me. And I thought that's okay because we are freshers and this is what happens with freshers. But what's really bad about this is personal exclusion by the team members. Not even one team member's support is what really hurt me. That too, even in the basic of the basic things. So they just think that just because a person is a fresher, they can just bully them. And I was bullied for and all such things are being done. And how would you tolerate? Once is fine, twice is fine, but every time you go and try to mingle with your teammates and they're showing this kind of attitude. So this is basically is what was really hurting me, and I didn't know if this is what it should be like, because they always talk about inclusion, and again when it comes to few times they act I say act in quotes as if they are including, but this kind of exclusion is rampant when I'm and this was the first experience, horrible things that were going on. And there were many cold bullying instances, and there were verbal abuse instances also. And this was how some more initial days went. So, and this team had only one stand-up call per week. And even I was asking, like, I wanted to know what kind of work is done. So there is no transparency, and all the time, these aims, and they stay offline or they are not available, and then you have to rely on your team members. And when I go and talk to manager about getting some work, he just says that these people are going to set up KT, but your seniors are not setting up any KTs, and you're not getting the, basically do not know who is doing what in team, and the team is so disengaged, so disconnected that you're not. There is no platform, and it's an instance of total mismanagement, I would say. The kind of torture that I underwent in this team was unbearable. Literally, there were no other person from the 10 other new hires who were told to be floaters, who had to go to the team wherever there is work available, also didn't face any such things that I had faced. Yes, initially they were not given work. Even they were also not given assigned any work for some time. That was common for all. But later, whenever there was a work, they had a proper guidance. They had KTs, and they had a proper work, and they were involved into them. But here, the team members, despite of having I was told to be a permanent replacement to a member in the team, and despite this also, I was not given any proper KT, and the team members of this team were so irresponsible. You know, So post 6 months, I was told that one of my senior team member is going on her wedding PTO, and I had to take care of her responsibilities. She was also part of this team, but working on a different technology. But yet, I made sure that I learn that technology so that I can take up the work. But there was absolutely no guidance from her, and this was informed 2 months before she left. But also, there was some nine critical processes that were to be handed over to me. Then there was absolutely no there was only a limited time left, and the person who's it's the primary responsibility of the person who's leaving to hand over things properly. But even there was a kind of a high degree of irresponsibility, that there were no handover schedule, and I myself took the initiative and scheduled the handovers. And initially she had completely delayed the time, and the meetings were getting cancelled due to and the meetings were postponed. And when there was less time left and I had scheduled an hour meeting, that was a concern for the person. And the assistant manager comes and says to me that do not schedule 1 hour meeting. This is a very long one. So how are you expecting that the transitions occur? There was no proper transition plan even until I had pushed for the plan. A person is leaving on a wedding PTO, and I am supposed to be handed over, but there is no response from the person. The person is behaving so irresponsibly, and this so such a high degree of irresponsibility from a senior analyst who was about to leave for wedding PTO. I had to push for the accesses. There are no proper accesses given, and then they were expecting me to completely become the backup for this person, since they didn't have any specific backup, and to be the primary in her absence, and to have that kind of. So I thought taking the responsibilities of a senior analyst in her absence was a new learning opportunity, but alas, it was a starting point of the workplace exploitation. And even if I said that I wouldn't take the responsibility, I was told in a very manipulative way that if I was not interested in taking the responsibility, then they would find someone else. There were many people. The assistant manager was like, I would try to get someone else, where they were trying to throw the work of 6 members onto me. And this is done in a very, very subtle manner that you do not even know. And no one ever knows. Nothing is documented. And they were trying to make me the so called monitoring POC of the work of 6 different persons. That was the very work of this team. And I was being told to do that since I have the experience in both. And this is done so cleverly and so brutally and badly. So there came a point where they so cleanly told me very formal manner that you would be the POC of monitoring, and you should also monitor the technology one. That was actually the work of 6 members in the team. This is unrealistic, right? And this came the ceiling limit, and this is extreme manipulation. And when I say I want to work on only one thing, they say you had expressed interest, and this is how it works. And I knew that this was a point where they were trying to take the complete advantage of me, and trying to exploit me, and there is absolutely no escape from this. I thought that I would think about it. I would try to take a PTO and refresh my mind, because I have to think about next steps. But they were not even ready to grant me PTOs. And my assistant manager says that you have to prioritize things, and that other people are so occupied that we cannot grant you PTO. And when I say that when I say about the point members work on me, is this when I discuss that this is a difficult thing, they just say you have to prioritize things. And then I was thinking of cooling off because I needed a leave to think about next steps, and they were not granting any PTOs, saying that the other team members are busy and we need you to work even on your PTO. So this is how the entire thing was going, and this was the limit, and I completely broke, and I had basically, my mental health was hurt to a point that I just crumbled. This was the first toxic culture that I have ever seen, that I have ever heard of, because there are a few basic toxicity limits, and then there is this highly toxic range. And within 1 year of my experience, I had such a toxic culture, the experience of such a toxic culture, that I wish that upon no one. So basically, let's do a bit of a check on the basic toxicity limits. Like for initially there was a lack of basic guidance, training, support, where I was asking like what are the technologies, and to learn, or they were even hesitant to tell the name of that technology to learn. And then also there was no. Yes, there is toxicity. There are basic toxic limits, such as there is. I was okay with lack of the basic guidance, training, and support in the initial days, and where they were even willing hesitant to tell what kind of work they do, or when I was pushing for any support, or at least to suggest me a few external courses that I can refer, or any technology that I have to upskill in. I was trying to make some constructive discussions with them, but everything in vain. They were even hesitant to tell the name of any technology, to tell any guidance, let alone the work, the information. So this was fine. Okay, we can think that they are freshers, and it is the corporate ladder is low, so they just want to delay things. That was fine. Even if there is not even basic guidance, but somehow you can figure out, you can question and try to extract the information. But and then there is other thing like exclusion and cold bullying. As I said, there was exclusion. They were not willing to sit beside me, and even in the office, when I go and try to take a seat beside them, the members just used to shift their seat, and the manager would be somewhere else, and they had no connect. The assistant managers would be somewhere else. It was just a hello, hi, shake hand, and then they were somewhere else, and these people were completely excluding me, and they were not willing to sit beside me. They shifted seats when I just tried to go and sit beside them to strike a conversation with them. Then there is cold bullying. While they team up, they laugh on you behavior, and they team up and laugh on you, make some personal remarks. That was also fine. Okay, few people are like that, and karma gets back to them. That is fine. But later there is again the next manipulation and passive aggression. So there is this manipulation where you're first told that whenever you ask for something, you're told that you're new, so initially you should start with a few small tasks, and then later everything is thrown on you, and then you are asked to prioritize, and they play in such a manner with you that whenever you try to not even like raise voice. I'm not the kind of person who ever makes any remarks or back pitching or nothing of that sort, and I only talk work. I don't even talk personals. But then also there was a kind of passive aggression whenever some concern is raised and a request is made to accommodate something. There was a passive aggression that is shown in the tasks or in the critical remarks that were being made, and then that was also you can say it's fine. And then undermining, so there comes undermining confidence and oppression. This is so rampant. They try to use every situation to just undermine your confidence, and you'll be cut off in between the calls, and they do not disregard you. They see as if you're non-existent for them, just to undermine your confidence. And they feel I don't know, there's some kind of sadistic pleasure in kind of oppressing people for even the very basic of basic things. So then there is, and the negativity is the norm. They withhold information. There everything, it is completely surrounded by negativity. It's so cold that there are multiple instances. I can go on and on about it. And then there is stifling growth. So whenever you are asking for other opportunities that are available, because here you do not have a conductive work environment, they do not want to let you grow, do not want to let you shift your teams, anything as such. So these were about the basic toxicity limits that irks you, but somehow you try to continue because this is a job you've got after 4 years of hard work in your BTech, and you want to continue doing this job. Okay, after 4 years of college, you've got this job, and this is in your hand, and this is such a good company, and you want to continue working for the company. So, and you convince your mind that it's okay. This is because you're a fresher, and things would change for better at later times. But the highly toxic range, once it had hit the ceiling, you just leave everything in the place. You do not think about anything, and you just quit without thinking. That was the level of toxicity that had reached. It was very lethal. There was extreme mismanagement, and there was a plan to completely exploit me, scapegoat me, and there was personal attack and targeting on me, only me. And later, even I think that even manager didn't know who was doing what work, so they started setting up daily stand-up calls. And this was when there was an idea of who was doing what work. But every time anyone says that's work, that's okay. But since when I tell about my work or something, I was disregarded, I was pinpointed, and there is a complete targeting and personal attack, as if my work, even it was very evident that the kind of work they were doing was same as me. But when they do, it's a different thing. And there was lack of flexibility. Every move of mine was questioned. The kind of flexibility that was given to other members was not given to me. I was a sincere person. I was not like the kind of person who goes around or who just takes more flexibility. Still, there was no flexibility. There was completely no support. The way I could just see the way the other team members supported each other, I didn't have that kind of support. Also, then also I had fixed my mind that I just do my job and go. But then it was not like that. I was personally targeted. I was not given any flexibility. I was not given PTOs, and this was like they found the scapegoat among everybody, and they want to push the entire work. And the team environment was very detrimental, and where they were trying to push the entire work on me, and there was completely lack of support from anyone. Uh, then there comes, so this is what amounted. This was the kind of situation that was created for me. These people were disengaged. Again, among them, they were supporting each other, but just the fact that they were trying to take the complete advantage of me is very bad. And I never think that it happened to any of the other new hires who were there. This team has such a detrimental environment, such a detrimental, that I cannot just say it in words. Next comes the irrelevant job role and responsibilities. The kind of the job role that was mentioned in JD, and the kind of work that I was given. But it was something like they had a personal grudge on me. They were not giving any meaningful work to me, and this was only happening with me. This is what I felt in this team. Especially this team is an internal team, not a very much of importance. But still, even within the team, the kind of work that was being given was very irrelevant, and someday manager gets some other work from different team, and they're trying to throw on you. This team was basically a middle team. It was neither a data analyst team nor a developer team, nor a it was testing team. And what do you say when you go out in job market? What role do you say you had? You're basically an analyst. Okay, you're an analyst, but what kind of role? This is not any conventional role that is found in any job market, and this was such a bad trap that I feel that I was put into. And this had, even within the team itself was such a team which did not have any definitive role, and was working as liaison between two teams. But the team itself was like that. But even within the team, I was absolutely given no meaningful job, and I felt that this was being done very wantedly, and I strongly trust my gut. And this was the trap that I was put into. And then there was no granting of leaves. When there is a all this highly toxic range, you just need a day to get off to think with your clear mind. but there was not even, they were expressing in such a state of mind when you go and request for paid time off, and they were not granting these. So this was what was the very lethal environment. This has absolutely hit the ceiling, and I quit without any offer, without any backup plan. Let's talk about the claims and realities. What they claim and what is the reality. So they say networking is the key. You have to network as much you want. There are many events, but it was such a bad thing that when I left, I got not a single help, not from my manager, not from the leaders, not any support or opportunity, not a single help, support or opportunity. And I was taking the initiative, and within just 1 year of span, I was working for two different teams. I was neither given opportunity in any of the team nor anywhere internally. Next claim, you are encouraged to move anywhere internally. So they say you can move anywhere internally. This is such a big firm. You get many opportunities. But the reality is we will make sure to keep you tied and tortured here. They never, all right, claim number three. Any level employees can share their views on issues. The reality, there is silent retaliation, personal attack, and targeting, even on the slightest request made against their plan of action.
How toxic it was and how I was tortured. It was not a job, but extreme corporate ragging. They made me a special POC to monitor, fix, serve everyone 24/7 and notify them, which was the work of each and everybody, both analysts and senior analysts, which is the work of the primary owners of the respective reports, which is the work of 8 members of the team. When questioned, they said, "See, we are helping out each other, making you this special POC as people miss seeing mails and go out of notice." Actually, they are irresponsible, incapable rogues who stay offline all the time, and I get zero support. Made me the backup of senior analyst who went on wedding PTO and forced me to continue doing her work forever, even post she returned. Eventually, tried to make me backup for everyone, scapegoat, and forced to do all their work every day, even in their presence, where they just made excuses and stayed unavailable all the time. I was made shared resource between two technology works and tried to push more work, exploit, and I was manipulated by the AM or coach. Despite all this, I was provided zero support, treated badly, verbal abuse, and they were unfairly, extremely rigid towards only me, not anyone else on the team. Requested PTO on medical emergency. My PTO was not granted, but on the same day, gives leave to two senior analysts for holiday trips, and I was made to do their work. This is extremely lethal levels, and practices go on. This was the kind of things that were done to me. And honestly, my question is, what did a 1 year old a fresher who's not even completed 1 year of tenure do to you that you play in such a manner with giving such responsibilities? It was not even like it was a promotion time for me, yet I faced such a bad time. This was really disappointing, really deeply hurtful, making me mentally crumble.
With that much debunking, let's come to some more realities. They say, with that much debunking, let's come to some more realities. Y- First, it's their game. We just play. You have literally no escape. Second, you complain, you're shown the door. Third, high management is well aware of what's going on and all the plans to torture you, no matter whom you talk to, whom might seem friendly to you, you go and talk to them, all are related, and they are just trying to take advantage of you. And if you are a critical one or you're a sincere one who's trying to put efforts, they make sure to ruin you just because you're a critical resource.